The following podcast contains adult language and themes, so don't say we didn't fucking warn you.
You're listening to SarahTalk. It's political.
You could run a fucking pet rock against Donald Trump, and I would vote for the pet rock.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right
Yeah.
Critical.
One of the things that drives me nuts as an atheist is that my polling location is at a church. And I don't necessarily have a problem. I'm not going to like burst into flames walking into a church.
Now, after being on this show and having heard your viewpoints on some things, my advice to you is don't test this. I won't burst into flames.
And positively LGBT positive.
In many states, you can still be evicted from housing simply for being gay or transgender. Stand and fight with us.
Oh, and occasionally completely absurd.
I don't know if you've ever seen a lightning bug, but he flies around with a flame of light coming out of his behind. The lightning bug got a flame coming out of his butt.
It's a beautiful night tonight. All the sodomites are out.
And now, from Orlando, Florida, your host, Sarah Austin.
Welcome to SarahTalk. I'm Sarah Austin. Take two.
Oh my god. Freaking mess.
Oh, okay. So listen. You know what? Here. I got it.
Yeah. Drinks all around.
So we had a guest lined up for tonight. I did the math on the time zone calculation correctly. I'm positive that I did so. One, because I never do it manually, I go to timeanddate.com and use the time zone converter.
Right.
First of all.
That's
so,
smart.
Thanks.
Very smart.
So I know I was right. Then I sent a message, and now here we are. So if we do hear from our guest, then I will flip back to page 1. In the meantime, let's go through some of the stuff that we've got to talk about tonight.
Okay.
Hey, if you haven't joined our listener group, join the listener group, please. It's a lot of fun. We have some great people that hang out there and post. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Maybe not on the thing. But this is Jace, a member of the group.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
That artwork. It was
I don't know
awesome.
if you can see.
Nope. Oh, very. It's like.
Sort of. So anyway, you have to go to the group to see it because you can't see it like that.
Yeah.
Whoa, what skill.
Right? I was
Holy
impressed
cow.
with that. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, I've never been able to draw anything. As I said in the post, I can draw the little 3D cube thing
And a stick
and the
figure.
little funky S thing that everybody made in the 90s when I was a kid.
Chain.
What?
It's a chain.
No.
Yes.
We're not doing this on,
It is a chain.
on the show. Oh my God. Okay, so anyway, so join the listener group. I had not intended to talk about this in any great detail, but have you been following the Kavanaugh Supreme Court confirmation hearings? And I know that you have.
And if you haven't, get your damn
No, I know
head
you-
out of the rock.
You have.
Oh, well, yeah, I have.
Yeah. Wow, what a mess.
It was intense. Yeah.
It's
And they're still not even close to being done. Like they're done with the,
They're done-
the hearing part of it, but
Right.
there's like questions in private.
what did I see there? The 12th or something. They're gonna 12th or 13th, I think. I don't
Reconvene
remember. But
in-
anyway, they're
yeah.
gonna vote and they're gonna pass him through the committee, and then he'll go to the full Senate.
I gotta hope. I gotta hope that there's at least two
There's
somewhat reasonable Republicans that can see through this guy. I mean, if you looked at everything that was brought to the table,
right.
I mean, and they did basically lay out connect the dots that they've got proof that he lied to the Senate 10 years ago to get the seat that he has now.
Right.
So if nothing more, they can at least impeach him for perjury.
Right.
So,
you know, this thing has gotten so partisan too.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I was apathetic to politics in my 20s, and so and half of my 30s. So I don't remember Sotomayor's confirmation hearing. Like I don't remember anything really prior to Garbage Gorsuch. But this just seems really, really partisan to me. I don't know if it's it seems unusually partisan. That's what I'm saying. But he's gonna pass. Now, let me tell you, call your damn senators, because that's really the only thing I think that registers, right? You can do the I signed a petition. You can do the, when you get action alerts from like the Secular Coalition and the FFRF or whatever, and they send the action alerts to your phone, and you click over and it gives you a few options. You can write you can write an email to your legislators, or you can call your legislators and they'll dial it up for you, and even give you a script to read, or you can tweet or Facebook at them. Calling is the best, right? If you're gonna in order the things that will register better, call. There are a multitude of websites that will give you scripts to use that you can just punch in your zip code or your address, and it'll tell you who your senators are, first of all, if you don't know, and their numbers to their office in DC. I called in the middle of the night last night. So my advice is, if you're one of those people like me who doesn't like to talk to people, especially on the phone, call in the middle of the night and leave a message when nobody's there. They're still going to come in the morning and count it.
Yeah.
So
make sure you leave your information.
Make sure you leave your information, right? Yep. Leave your address, zip code. And you call during the day. Call in the afternoon. Call.
Just call, I guess.
Just call. And if you've never called, I know some people are, like me, nervous about the process or whatever, afraid to talk to people, and that's cool. I get that, but they don't really care they really don't care. They don't care what your reasons are. It is a staffer taking a tally, and so you call up and hi, Senator Rubio's office. Hi, this is Sarah. I'm calling from this zip code. I'm a constituent. And I'm calling to urge Senator Rubio to vote no on Kavanaugh's confirmation. All right, check. No. Moving on. Thanks for your call. And that's it. So it's really not hard. It's not going to hurt you. I promise. But call.
It's nothing like having to call the credit bureau to see why you were denied for something.
Oh, fucking, I'm so mad about that. We have great credit. So anyway. Damn it.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I guess. And so here's the other thing, right? They're going to vote party line. I really believe they are. Who is it? Collins and Murkowski that are the ones that the Republican, female Republican senators that they think are our best hope to sway.
Right.
Because of the Roe v. Wade concern.
And the indigenous. There was another thing too for one of them. There was two hits for the one.
Oh, I missed that.
The Alaskan senator. There was remarks he made about indigenous natives or something that would have affected her direct constituents.
Okay.
So I don't listen.
It's been a long 4 days.
Well, because we don't have cable or actual TV. I have the All Channels Plus, and so I just put the MSNBC on, and it just plays everything over and over and over again.
Right.
So I've heard Rachel Maddow talk about everything.
See,
I've heard Joe and Minka, is that her name?
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
I watched the live feed, like PBS NewsHour or whatever would, where all of the outlets were live streaming it on Facebook. So I just watched it live.
I didn't want to watch the actual hearing.
I didn't want to hear the talking heads. I wanted to watch the hearing.
I wanted to.
That's interesting.
Because I can't. It's just like noise. It's like white noise. It would put me to sleep.
Really?
So I watched them, and they would play like the clips of Kamala and the
Mhm.
clips of Cory Booker, and so I got the big things.
Right.
And then they had a lot of those people on afterwards. Like they had
Right.
Kamala Harris on the phone in the closet in the back closet in the Senate.
Oh, that's
like
great.
on a cell phone, and her reception was really bad, and they but it was right
Hey,
after she was tearing
I know
into
what
him
that's
about,
like.
Bad
reception.
Yeah. So they actually talked to those people that were in the room and got their take on it. So it was interesting.
Yep. Dan, you're right. Arizona's best hope to vote against Kavanaugh died 2 weeks ago, and his replacement, John Kyle, totes the party line.
Sad.
Yeah. It's gonna go party line, and here's my concern, right? At first, I was like, call your senators. Fucking Rubio's gonna do what Rubio's gonna do.
It's true.
Right? Like, there was a big part of me that was like, I don't even know why I'm bothering. I'll call Bill Nelson to say, Bill, I know you already oppose this jerk. Thank you for opposing
Right?
him as an atheist transgender person. All of his opinions will be a direct affront to my identity, and thank you for standing against what he stands for. I can't wait to vote for you in November. Bye.
Right.
So that's kind of what my phone call was to Bill.
Yeah.
Just add my name to the list of supporters, But with Rubio, so that's the thing. You hear when you listen to the, Kamala posted the thing that I shared the post she posted with the phone number to call the Senate. And so first I heard, call your senators, right? They want to hear from their constituency. They want to know what you're thinking. But do they? Or is it just the Democrats that actually really want to hear from their constituency?
Well, exactly. That's why
the
Republicans
will
just toe
do
the
anything
line,
they want, right?
because they're, it's ridiculous.
So anyway, I called. So I would urge you to do the same. If nothing else, even if you think that, this is a lost cause or whatever, it is fantastic practice for calling your senators, calling your legislators. And it'll, if you're nervous about it, it'll help you break through that and make the next call a little easier when they're, looking at the next major thing.
Right.
I've got people lining up for the November 6th election special.
We're going to have like a conveyor belt that just kind of rolls around.
Well, I don't know who else coming in studio.
Yeah.
I know Mandy will be here for sure.
We'll have to get a whiteboard to put on the wall to like make time blocks.
Yeah. But I do have John from the Wayward Willis, Maddie Love, and then Sharon Frankel locked in a time too. So we'll from Habeas Humor, we'll have Sharon on. And she did release a new episode just recently.
Very cool.
So welcome back, Sharon. All right, so I'm gonna skip the first 4 or 5 pages, and if we get a call, then we'll go back to that. Okay, so let's start with, let's see. Victoria says, on the plus side, this confirmation shows cowards like Cruz and Rubio for their true colors keep their jobs over doing what they say they believe. Oh, absolutely. I can't watch Ted Cruz talk.
I can't. No.
I can't watch him talk.
No. He's like,
he just has this sleazy, smarmy, beady-eyed,
gross, nasty something. Yeah.
Ugh. I can't do it. And sorry, I was gonna move on, but I'm not ready to move on. And let me also say, when you watch the hearing, and this is I think part of watching the hearing, my favorite game is Count the Old White People.
Oh, God.
It was a sea of gray-haired old men, old white men.
And the only thing they weren't wearing were their MAGA hats.
Right. I'm going to move this over here a bit. So Dan can see the light. Yeah.
Speaking of MAGA hats, can we talk about Plaid Shirt Guy 2020?
Oh my God, yes. That was so great.
He was amazing. And he would like he did an interview somewhere on one of these things, and he was saying that they asked him, were those your actual reactions, or were you just making faces? Because he said he claimed that that was his actual reaction, and that there were things that he agreed with that he like applauded to.
Right.
And then but I guess at one point he said like, have you, or something, because Trump said he had like the best numbers. I don't know what it was. Right. Or he's had an increase in supporters or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't the context of that of where was this rally or whatever.
It was in Montana.
Okay.
Plaid shirt.
And that makes sense. Yeah. So this guy standing right behind Trump.
18 years old, like he's a senior in high school.
The hero we need.
Right. I love it.
Britain posted a great like a collage of
all of his
the different faces all lined up in one picture. That was so great.
He was there with two of his friends, and like he said, he thought he like knew when they, like, you can see in one of the videos where they came in and told him to leave, but he said they prepped you before the rally. They're like, you have to be enthusiastic.
Right.
They warm up the crowd. Sure. And if you're not, we'll ask you to leave.
And they did.
Yeah.
And they did. They came and moved, and like 3 other people came
Those
in.
were the people that were with him.
Oh.
And then he said
I didn't realize they were all together there.
He was with two of his friends. And then they escorted him out. Secret Service took him into a back room somewhere, checked his ID, made sure he was who he was supposed to be, and then told him to leave and not come back.
Wow. Yeah, I knew he'd gotten taken back to the Secret Service.
Yeah, it was, but Plaid Shirt Guy 2020.
Yeah.
Get him somewhere.
The hero we all know. Although I don't know if he agrees with some of what Trump was saying.
Yeah.
What was Trump saying that he agreed with? I'd like to know.
I think it was, I know the one thing I remembered was he said he doesn't like NAFTA.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
So I'm like, but I mean, that whole speech too, he couldn't say anonymous.
Yeah, that was great.
And somebody commented on one of the posts, it might have been Britain's post, one of the ladies said, all I kept thinking of was in Finding Nemo.
Oh, yes.
When Nemo couldn't say anemone.
Anemone.
Like, don't hurt yourself, kid. I'm like, yes! Somebody make a meme.
Yes. Okay, let's get into the news. The rest of the news. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to start low.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. But wouldn't you rather end on the high note than start happy and crash at the end?
Yeah, but we started happy. Now we're going down, and it's like a big, huge wave of emotion.
I don't know that the Kavanaugh confirmation was happy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess.
So a former sailor in the U.S. Navy stabbed a woman he'd met on a dating site 119 times.
Oh, my.
When she revealed that she was transgender after they had sex. 21-year-old Dwania Hickerson lost it, scare quotes, after learning the truth about 25-year-old D. Whigham. In circuit court in Mississippi, of course it's Mississippi, we learned that he knifed her multiple times in the face, slashed her throat in the hotel room, took a shower, and then left her for dead. He was sentenced to 40 years without parole after pleading guilty to second-degree murder and 15 years for robbery, having also taken Whigham's purse and cell phone on his way out.
What?
Right?
Oh, my God.
And here's what I think we need to talk about in this, right? And that is this trans panic defense. It seems like it didn't work this time, but because he was basically saying like, oh, I lost my mind. I watched the courtroom video of this thing, and it was just this guy. But that's basically what he was saying was when she told me, I panicked. And that argument is used far too often successfully in courts across America. And luckily, it doesn't look like that worked here for 40 years. But the plea likely lowered his sentence from the death penalty to 40 years. So, not a fan of the death penalty, but Dee's family certainly is outraged that, he's going to get to see his family again.
Right.
But Dee never will. So, I totally get that. I'm just not a fan of the death penalty. And I'm not a judge. I can't tell you whether 40 years is appropriate. They use the matrix to figure it out. But this trans panic stuff. Look, your toxic masculinity is bullshit. I didn't know she was a man is so fucking 1990s Jerry Springer. And it's definitely not an excuse to kill anybody. We've got to get over this. The next story. Victoria sent this next story in.
Thank you, Victoria.
Yeah, I missed it in my sleeping during the day. Deputies are looking for a person suspected of spray painting a derogatory slur used against trans people on a home garage. Sheriff Sergeant said while patrolling the Newberry Oaks neighborhood in Newberry. Where's Newberry?
Is it Florida? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's
Gainesville area?
Gainesville, yeah. Actually, I think I've been to Newberry.
Really?
Briefly, if it's where I think it is.
Early Friday morning, deputies came across the vandalized home. The slur was spray painted in large black letters and threatened the homeowners to, quote, move or die. Vandalism occurred between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. It's being investigated as hate crime. So they said that that deputies came and knocked on the door, and so one of the people in the home recently came out as trans, like 3 months ago. No, yeah, 3 months ago. Recently came out as trans. Started identifying as female. Woke up to deputies at her door. And they said, "Are you aware of what is on your house?"
Oh, no.
And she says, "I'm sorry, no, what? What's going on with my house?" And so they go outside, and on the garage door, like 80% coverage, large black letters, move or die. And she said she would have been even more surprised had earlier in the day she not come home and found a Post-it note on that same door that also said move or die.
Oh my God.
Neighbors apparently are really trying to step in and take care of her and have offered to buy her dinner and paint the door and put in a camera. So it looks like she has some support up there in the neighborhood, at least. They don't think that there's any camera footage to be gotten. They've been asking around. And,
Yeah.
Wow. Yep.
Oh, yeah. The scum that lives in this earth.
So again, when we talk about, reasons why I protect my identity and my family and my children's identities, and you just never know.
Oh, Dan has some feedback for you, Sarah.
Oh, what's my feedback?
I can't read the whole thing, so
Oh,
you're
I'm
going to
sorry.
have to... People need to make shorter comments. Cut your comments in half. I can't read them on the phone because when I click see more, it won't let me.
Becca can't. Yeah.
It can't.
We need to intersperse lighter stories among the heavier ones. This scraping our way up from the bottom is difficult. You're right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I will own this one, but a lot of this is I'm throwing extra stories in together because we were supposed to have a guest tonight, and we don't. So
it's been one of those.
The first hour was pre-planned, and then now I'm kind of scratching. Still haven't heard from them.
You're doing really
BCW.
good for an improv. Sort of.
A sort of improv and a technical difficulty.
Yeah. Yikes.
Okay, the next story comes out of Boston. Boston. There are 3 flagpoles outside of City Hall in Boston.
Only 3?
Only 3. But they're all, they're not all causing a shit ton of controversy. But one of them is...
Wait a minute. Is there an American flag? A
Mhm.
Boston flag? There's not a Boston flag?
Yes, but that's
The
the
state
third
flag?
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The state flag is not Boston.
Oh.
You're so pretty. You try that again?
The sad part is I should totally know. Stop it. I should totally know this because my mother was born in Boston.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I know that Boston is not the state. Massachusetts.
There you
okay,
go.
but it should be a state flag, right?
Okay, yep. So you
So
got the
American
American flag, the state flag, and
and
the city flag. That's what I said the third one was.
Oh, is it
Yeah.
the city flag? Okay.
Yes. Which I think is a little unnecessary.
Dan,
Do we need
that's
a city
little
flag?
unnecessary. Does this help you read? All separate comment. Dan, if you can like break it into sentences.
Oh, that's
If
great.
you're gonna post this a paragraph, put one sentence at a time. You jerk.
Okay, so I think
Ugh, I love you, Dan.
a city flag is a little bit excessive.
Really?
Do we need city flags?
I don't know.
I'm a little. I don't. Well, you know me. I'm a globalist. I think
See,
all of this. Everybody has a
Okay. I don't.
territorial-based flag. I don't know.
I don't know. Like when I was in grade school,
Uh-huh.
I remember like I think it was third grade maybe. We had to write an essay on the state of Florida.
Okay.
And part of the essay was an art project where we had to draw the Florida state flag.
Uh-huh.
That was difficult. But I think if we had to do the city flag, like, I mean, and thinking about where our son goes to school,
Mhm.
like, there's some kids that live in the city limits of the school, but because it's a county-wide school board. So how do you even, like, I don't know. I don't think you need a city flag. I think it's too confusing for a lot of reasons.
Right. But anyway, they sometimes swap out the city flag
Maybe capital city should have a flag.
for other flags. God, based on events. So it sometimes flies the rainbow flag,
Oh, how did I not
the
go there?
transgender flag,
Uh-huh.
and the Juneteenth flag.
Juneteenth.
It's the African American commemoration of the abolition of
Oh,
or emancipation
okay.
from slavery in Texas.
Did they fly the prisoners
That's
of
what it
war
is.
flag during like
No. So it should come as no surprise that conservative religious groups were outraged when the city denied their application to fly the Christian flag during an event to honor Christians put on by Camp Constitution.
Oh.
Let's play Spot the Difference. Becca,
Well,
why would it be okay to fly the Juneteenth, rainbow, and trans flags, but not the Christian flag?
I believe there's a little part of the law that stipulates that there should be a separation between church and state. And if the flag is flown on state property, that would make flying a Christian flag on state property,
An endorsement of religion.
right. Thereby going against the...
So the
Okay.
city said you can have your event on private property nearby and fly your flag on that property nearby all day. But you can't do it on the city flagpole. And the Christians sued.
Wow.
Yep.
Jeez.
Now, the hero of this
Wait,
story...
what was the precedent of their lawsuit? Was it
Stay with me.
oh, okay.
Now, the hero of this story is U.S. District Judge Denise Casper. Conservative Christian nonprofit legal group Liberty Counsel asked for an injunction, and Casper shot down their constitutional claims one by one.
Yeah.
Casper wrote, quote, "The purpose of the event would be to convey government endorsement of a particular religion by displaying the Christian flag alongside that of the United States and the Commonwealth in front of City Hall." End quote. The city's rule against all religious flags was found to be neutral and therefore constitutional. Right? They didn't say, well, we can fly Muslim flags and
Right.
Hindu
It's-
flags,
right.
just no Christian flags. No, they said no religious flags. Neutral and therefore constitutional. And she also addressed the claim that everybody gets their flag but us. Persecution complex issues, right? Quote, plaintiffs also emphasize the city's prior decisions to grant permission to private parties to raise the LGBT rainbow pride flag, transgender rights flag, and the Juneteenth flag on the city flagpole. However, none of these flags are religious on their face, end quote. There you go.
Bam, bam, boom, mic drop.
Liberty Counsel will be appealing, of course, but...
Of course they will, because they've got nothing better to do with their time, apparently.
Nope, not really.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Do you recall a few weeks ago we talked about religious adoption agencies in Philadelphia
Yes.
that they were under fire from the city for refusing to adopt or foster out to gay kids, and the city said,
Yeah.
okay, well, we'll cancel your contract with the city because we have an equal rights ordinance, and you're not living up to it.
Right.
Well, just as a reminder, Bethany Christian Services agreed to comply to prevent the city from suspending their contract, but Catholic Social Services filed a lawsuit aimed at Philadelphia's non-discrimination ordinance. In July, a federal judge rejected the claim that their constitutional rights were violated by being forced to follow the law. No shit. You follow... That's the whole thing of this religious liberty bullshit. They want to be above the law. Okay, so they appealed to the Supreme Court, and remember, there is a push by evangelicals broadly to bring cases relating to religious liberty before the highest court. Now that it's leaning further to the right, and once Kavanaugh gets confirmed, because he will, they'll
Stop being so pessimistic.
Call your senators. They'll have all the votes they need.
Call your senators, but stop being so pessimistic.
Their petition to the Supreme Court said, quote, the city of Philadelphia's vindictive conduct
will pull out the big words.
Will lead them to displaced children, empty homes, and the closure of a 100-year-old religious ministry. Emergency relief is necessary to prevent this harm. So they're basically saying, okay?
Oh, no.
They're basically saying, we would rather kids be in a miserable group home or die hungry and homeless on the streets than take them into a gay family. How fucking Christian of you.
This makes me so mad. It just makes me so mad.
And they think this is some kind of like morality virtue signaling, right? Like, oh, look at us. We're, the Bible says gay people are icky, and so we're standing up for our principles and our morals.
You know what? I've seen more examples of gay people with better morals and better principles than half of these Catholic priests. There's a guy, actually, there's a guy who, him and his husband, I don't remember where they're from, but they took in like I think it was 4 kids that were in the foster system. They were going to take the one, and then they found out that there were siblings.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, well, we can't separate them. We'll take them all. And then like the one guy had been through the foster system himself as a child. And when they showed up, they had all of their belongings in garbage bags.
Wow.
And he was like, are you kidding me? You're still using garbage bags for these kids? And they started a nonprofit. And they,
oh no, I did see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they've got
I remember that.
Filling backpacks for all these kids in foster care.
Yes.
And I'm like, so these gay guys took in 4 kids that they weren't really planning on taking in 4 kids, and then started this nonprofit to take care of all the other kids that are still going through the system.
Yep.
What has the Catholic Church done lately?
They've molested some kids.
So they're the last ones to speak on morals and principles.
Right. And if this is how you really feel about children, that you would rather close down your business than adopt out to gay people and play this pity card of how the children will be affected by us closing down. You don't deserve to be in this business if that's your attitude about children. Fucking Catholic. And let me tell you, sorry, and I'm pissed off about the Catholics again. Still interested in talking to a Catholic if you want to chat. I'll be nice, I promise. New York and New Jersey have now both filed for records requests in the multiple Catholic dioceses for an investigation into potential cover-ups of sex crimes there. We touched on last week that, what Florida's problem is. But this should be nationwide. There should be a national investigation into the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not just this church.
All churches. Any religious group. Any group where children are, and I mean,
yep.
Anywhere that children are vulnerable.
Yep.
Schools have standards. Not saying it wouldn't happen at a school, but there should be checks and balances everywhere.
Right. No, absolutely. And that's the thing. If there was an accusation of sexual assault in schools, and we know this happens because we see the news stories.
It happened at one of our local schools last year.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show. Do you know what happens? They call the fucking police like you're supposed to.
And the person is removed in handcuffs until...
And they go through the process. You know what doesn't happen? The principal and the superintendent don't conspire to cover it up and move them to a different school district because, are you fucking kidding me?
Or there was a bus driver that was doing stuff. The same thing happened as soon as it came to light.
Gone. And that's why I think if you're going to choose to investigate, you investigate the ones who are obviously blatantly covering things up, like the churches.
Sure.
The churches are the ones that are doing this. The Catholics are not alone here. We've talked many times about Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to talk tonight about the Mormon Church. And I'm going to try to reschedule that because that's just such an important story to share. Unless we still have time. She may call in. But
I think it's important to just, it may not be every church, but again, you're back to that checks and balances where if it was being monitored properly and there weren't all these instances where this kind of abuse is getting swept under the rug, it wouldn't be like, oh, why am I not surprised that this happened in a church?
Right. So I say investigate all the damn churches.
Yep. Robert Scheer, comfort cases.
Okay.
Everything they need and another bag for their belongings. Yeah, I had seen him before. I saw him on the NBC News. That's where I saw it recently, but he had been on Ellen, last year sometime.
Oh, yeah.
With the whole family. So when I saw it on the news, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. But just a beautiful, beautiful, example of what happens when kids are allowed to be adopted by a gay family.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. And the thing that pisses me off, I think, the most about it is the people that will tell you that the gay people shouldn't be allowed to adopt. They'll make a few arguments. One of them, they should have a father figure and a mother figure, which is bullshit. I mean, you can get you can learn that from other people in their lives. Well,
and how is that okay, so what if I'm a woman who married a man and he died or I died and now you have a child being raised, but because you're saying that, it's out there, and children that are in circumstances that are not necessarily, it could be divorced parents, dead parents, whatever, it makes them feel inadequate in their own, it's just damaging all the way around.
They'll make that, or they'll say, well, gay people are child molesters and pedophiles. And,
so are some of the priests.
And no, most of the, and that's the thing.
I'm being generous.
Again, Catholics, give us a call. I want to hear from somebody that says, oh, that doesn't happen in my church. Because you don't know that. Because they're hiding it. Do you need some rum?
No, look at my drink.
I don't want to look at your drink.
It's tea grounds.
I don't understand. Anyway, so back to Catholic, the Philadelphia Catholic. Anyway.
Yeah, go on.
Fortunately, for LGBTQ equal rights, the Supreme Court declined to hear that case, essentially upholding the lower court's decision that Catholic social services must follow the law. No religious exemptions. Only three justices. You're cheating.
No, I'm not. I was reading Jesse's comment.
Oh,
because she didn't break it into sentences.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's focus.
Sorry, go on.
Only three justices wanted to hear the case on the Supreme Court. Any guess which ones?
The good ones.
that wanted to hear the case about
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
It would be the 3 bad
The
ones.
3 bad ones. That's what I meant. I got confused.
You need to study your Supreme Court.
Apparently, I do. All
Justices.
of this stuff.
Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch, of course.
Yeah, of course.
So there you go. So for now, we're
Whoa.
safe. But again, like this is all a chess game.
Yeah.
How much of that is look, kick the can down the road? Like we don't want to hear a case about that now. Once we get our boy Kavanaugh on the bench, then maybe we'll hear one of these cases.
Telling you, he is not gonna be there long if he gets there at all. There's too many worms that have been let out of that can. Oh, look, it's my favorite guy. Not.
Next up. Well, and actually, we're not talking so much about him.
Oh.
Oh, no. Lori Bakker, wife of End Times alarmist and crypt keeper Jim Bakker, went on a fun little rant on the Jim Bakker show this past weekend. Let's have a listen.
I just challenge all of you to pray for our president, pray for our first lady, pray for our vice president, pray for our second lady and their families. Cover them in the precious blood of Jesus.
Okay, guys, we got to talk about this blood.
Disgusting.
Yes, we've got to talk about this blood sacrifice stuff.
No.
And it's only normal to you because it's been this way for so long and you just say it all the time, and that makes it normal. Think about the words that you're saying.
It makes me wonder, like I was very young when I went into religion. I wonder if I had been just a little bit older, if talk like that would have mortified me.
Right.
Blood, cover me in the blood of Jesus? What? That sounds like,
It sounds like a horror flick.
I think about how intelligent our son is.
Yep.
And if he sat here and listened to that, he would have been like, like he would take it literally, like immediately literally, because, but most kids are like that.
Right.
That's why indoctrinating children from a little babies is horrible.
And he wouldn't be terribly wrong. Let's take a look at how we got here. In the old book, you used to have to sacrifice an animal, and its blood was the atonement. And then some people came along and said, "Okay, we got to stop this animal thing. We got to do something else. We're gonna kill a guy." Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's it. No more animals. Pick one guy, and he'll be the very last one. No more sacrifices. We won't have to kill anybody else. No more blood, and then it'll be done.
Yeah.
Do you hear yourselves talking?
Hashtag me too, Jesse.
That no weapon formed against them shall prosper in Jesus' name. We love our president. We love our vice president. We love our first lady. We love our second lady.
Mother.
And they stand up for, we know Vice President Pence does.
Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we do. I'm telling you, Trump is the jiggle of the keys, take your eyes off of important things, and Pence is the one shoving Christianity into the country.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We know he's with us.
And Karen does. They stand up unashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. What's scary for us? And Jim has been preaching it for the past 2 days pretty strong.
Because that makes it it's very important. Because if you don't preach it, pretty strong.
Very pretty strong.
Then it's not as important. It doesn't work as well. Jesus Christ.
Anonymously.
They're saying it's mental illness.
Illness.
Oh my God. And the way her face, like, illness. Like, she's hydraulic animatronic and she's running low on hydraulic oil. That's what just happened there. I swear to God, that's what it looked like.
I wouldn't be surprised.
She
hold on. Mental illness? Maybe mass delusion. No, you're just wrong. This is simple. You're wrong about a thing. That's what it comes down to. But so apparently this mental illness thing comes from Joy Behar on The View.
Probably.
Did you see this clip?
But okay, this is triggering me. Because when you leave the witnesses and you decide to become an apostate, they say that you are mentally ill or mentally diseased.
You know, you should do a show about, podcast about.
I should, shouldn't I? I'm working on it, people. I promise I am. Hey, listen, you know what?
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I get like 6 hours of sleep every night. And when I'm not asleep, I'm tending to your children.
Well, okay. So anyway, they tell you your mental. So they tell, well, they don't tell you. They tell everybody everybody in the congregation to stay away from this person because they're mentally diseased and they're mentally ill and there's something wrong with them. And until, oh no! If I get close to Becca, I might catch the mental illness. That's not how it works.
Until they come back into the organization and are forgiven and repentant, then you have to stay away from them.
You know what cures the mental illness? You gotta get washed in the blood of the Jesus. Okay, so Joy Behar goes on The View. Right?
You're wrong about a thing, Dan says. Episode name.
You're wrong about a thing.
Joy Behar goes on The View.
At least one thing. Joy Behar goes on The View and she says, quote, "It's one thing to talk to Jesus. It's another thing when Jesus talks to you. That's called mental illness, if I'm not correct, hearing voices."
I think I remember.
And she was talking about Pence.
Yeah.
Pence shoots back on Fox News saying, like, look out of touch these Hollywood liberals are with their, faith and values. They're out of touch with the values of the American people. Was Pence's response. I think I don't know. She's got the finger on the pulse of my faith and values. Cause yeah, if you hear voices, how many times have we said that?
Right? It's like she's listening to our podcast.
Hi, Joy.
Hi, Joy. Hey, you should come on.
Yeah, right? Everybody tweet at Joy Behar. No,
right? Oh, God.
That would be cool.
And Joy, bring Whoopi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be great. Excuse me while we
leave Megan. Leave Megan. We
oh, yeah. No.
I felt really bad for her. I watched her speech to her father, her eulogy, but.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Let's finish this up.
Yeah. Right. Apparently, we have requests if it's not on your list.
If the world is thinking that we're all mentally ill, you know what's going to happen next? They're going to put us all away in mental illness centers.
No. Listen to how she said it. Let me roll it back.
Oh, God.
Put us all away in mental illness centers.
She is mentally ill.
Broken animatronic.
And she is a broken animatronic. That's exactly what she is. You need to put the link somewhere. You're going to put it in the show notes. Jesse, you need to, because Jesse will confirm this because she worked with us at Disney, and I think she would totally agree that it's a broken animatronic.
I don't know what kind of word to use, but I know one thing. When you've been, as a woman, I'm not in my 50s anymore, but as a woman that was in her 50s, you know what they used to do to women that went through menopause back years ago? Yeah. They put them in insane asylums because their hormonal balance was completely off. And I'm not kidding. That's what they did. And I'm not kidding. That's what's going to happen to us as Christians.
Okay, now, I'm going to need you to find the verse where it tells you that when the woman is on her period, she has to be sent out into a fucking hut for 10 days. I'm kidding. You don't have to actually find it, but it's in there.
It's in there. It's probably not in that one.
That was great.
Give me the original version.
So yeah, I mean, why you might if you're gonna do it when she bleeds, you might as well do it when she stops. I don't understand what what does this have to do with anything? Is it just because mentally insane people get locked up? Is that what?
Yeah, she's trying to make the case that this is just the beginning of the attack on religion, because all religion says there's a time before the end where governments and officials turn on religion. Mm-hmm. It's in Revelation.
Of course it is.
And so this is their big thing. Like, the end is coming.
Yeah.
Whatever. If it's the rapture, if it's Armageddon, if it's whatever it is, before Jesus comes back, the governments are going to turn on religion. So this is what she's building up to. I'm sure of it. I've heard it 1,000 times. Not from the bakers, but from the watch takers. I mean, towers.
Okay, let's play this out.
They're going to lock us up and throw us out if we don't stand up.
Well, it's in the Bible they're
If
going
we
to do that.
don't-
Okay, no. It's in the Bible that they're going to do that, Jim. Does it say if we don't stand up, or does it say they're going to do that? Because you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the animatronic spoke, and then he spoke. So I don't know if the animatronic speaks for him. I mean, I know that, I don't know. Did he program her to say that?
Bible they're
If
going
we
to do that.
don't
Matthew
stand
24 is
up.
very clear.
Well, it's time to stand up.
I love how they just talk over each other and like neither one of them has any kind of respect for the other.
Dan, I love you. He says, government's turning on religion. Aren't we at the polar opposite right now?
Yeah. Right? They are.
What? I mean, that deserved a bell.
No, that wasn't a bell.
No.
The bell is sexual.
Oh, no, it's not.
That's where I
That
fucked
is
up last
not...
week when I should have put in the rim shot.
Whatever.
No, but you're right. Like, religion is
Yeah.
the most privileged thing ever right now. Period.
The bell signifies ding, ding, ding. Yes, you win. You got it. Answer correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to find this video.
Okay.
Oh, this is it.
Oh.
So Dan wants to talk about Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a fun chat with my right friend at work today.
Your right friend. The only one?
Yeah.
Is this what made you late getting home today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we were
I'm
talking
waiting
about.
to hear this story. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah. So so apparently, and my friend agrees, the social media websites are shadow banning conservative outlets and people. They are he says they are disproportionately, blocking and banning and deleting content from conservative voices. So I pulled up some articles and we read through them that kind of analyzed the situation. And the last one was, why do conservatives believe bullshit more than liberals? Right? That was kind of the last one. But it was a look into the psychology of why conservative identifying people are more likely to buy into conspiracy theories and real fake news. Right?
And it's so true.
It is. It's so true. But and I'm not going to go through it now. But it was a decent article in Slate. That looked through the actual like psychological reasoning behind the way people reason differently and process that conservative people tend to be more authoritarian, and so they tend to trust whatever their authority tells them is true. So when Trump says, the failing New York Times and it's all fake news, they buy it. And no amount of information you can show them to the contrary, no matter how correct and accurate that information is going to do anything for them, because the authoritarian mindset says my authority said this is what I have to go with. Right. Climate change, same idea. I got all these experts here that tell you that climate change is real and human caused. Here it is. Here's the experts. But what they consider experts are different than what we consider experts.
Right.
Anyway, I know where I was going with that, but that was the conversation I had at work with my friend. And so, and it started with the talk about Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones has been dispatched from every major social media website out there. And the best part of this conversation with my friend at work, it was his last day too. Oh, gonna miss our chats. Is as a conservative-minded person, right? He and I have had the conversation many times that a business should be able to do whatever they want, and if you don't want to have to make cakes for the faggots, then you shouldn't have to do that because it's your right as an American citizen to not do it if you don't want to. Right? That's his position, basically. So I said, Facebook is a privately owned company, privately operated company, somewhat like a Bakker. Should they not be allowed to choose who they do business with? In your worldview, don't those things equate? Shouldn't they be able to say, hey, listen, we just don't want your kind here? Tell me how is that any different from the Masterpiece Cake Shop argument?
What was his reply to that? I'm curious.
Anyway, it was not convincing or compelling.
Well, of course it wasn't.
No, but right. And okay, so there is some conversation to be had about, is social media the new public square, the new town square, right? Because it used to be you all went down to City Hall and you could stand out on the lawn and say whatever the fuck you wanted, and and now we don't gather like that anymore. We gather online. Is this online thing? But I still defer back to, it may be becoming that, but it's not state owned.
Right. Yeah, and
so
until
it's still private property. It's the same thing as if you come into my yard and say or do whatever, I have every right to tell you to get out. Until it's
operated or mandated or whatever, until it's controlled by the government, it's still considered in the private sector, right?
Okay, so we got to get back to Alex Jones because we're way out the fuck off the track here. Okay, so Alex Jones has been removed from all of the sites. And
he got his social media taken.
And he claims that he's being silenced and censored. Here's the thing. Infowars.com, still available. You can go watch whatever he puts on Infowars. If they shut down...
he has his own website.
Yeah. If they shut down our Facebook tomorrow, that'd suck. That's how we talk to you people. Like every week. We do the thing. We have a website. I could put my videos direct to the website. Even if YouTube and Twitter Periscope and all of the places shut us down, we can still go direct to the website.
Create a code that lets you chat with us.
Thing. Like, yeah.
Like it's not...
No, yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
So...
Sure, Facebook makes it easy and convenient, but...
So Alex Jones goes to Washington.
Oh, goody. Oh, is this where he, heckles Rubio?
Yes.
Oh... So good.
Okay, now I did not prep this video ahead of time, so
it sucks.
So I can't tell you.
Email Sarah.
Shut up. So I can't tell you if it's going to be, one that has stupid music behind it or anything. But we'll try this one.
Google, does Facebook, does
That's why you didn't get elected.
Twitter, do they need to be regulated like do they need to be regulated?
Marco Rubio the snake. Little frat boy here.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Who are you, man?
Yeah,
Who's
sure.
This guy? I swear to God, I don't
You
know
better
who
hope
you
you
are,
can
man.
deplatforming. Tens of millions of views.
Infowars.
Better than Rush Limbaugh.
Deplatforming. Oh, they're shutting us down. They're deplatforming us. I do a pretty good Alex Jones voice. I should do a whole Alex Jones video.
Oh my God, please stop. Please stop.
They're turning the frogs gay.
Okay, you're sleeping in a child's room tonight because there's no way you're sleeping next to me. That is disgusting. I'm going to have nightmares. Hold on. Wait. Here.
Becca's quitting the show.
I'm not quitting the show. I'm quitting whatever you've got going on. Done.
He knows who Infowars is. He's playing this joke over here. That's why the deplatforming didn't work.
But here's the question. Here's a question.
Don't touch me again, man. I'm asking you not to touch me.
Okay, so he does one of these things, puts his hand, pats him on the back, and Rubio's like, "Get your fucking hands off me."
His facial expressions are great,
right? Rubio's facial expressions throughout this are almost as good as plaid shirt man's facial expressions
they're
behind
good.
Trump.
They're pretty good.
Because as much as I hate Rubio, this is a pretty.
This is gold right here.
Yeah, it is.
Well, sure, I just patted you nicely.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know.
You want me to get arrested?
I don't know who you are.
It's not just going to take my First Amendment.
Man.
It's not just enough to take my First Amendment. Oh, he'll beat me up.
Oh,
you're not going to get arrested, man.
Myself.
I'll take care of it. He says, "I'll take care of it myself." Oh, you're going to beat me up then? No, that's not what I said.
Me up.
I didn't say that.
I know I am, but he's so mad. You're not going to silence me.
You're not gonna silence
Well,
America.
but there are people.
You are literally like a little gangster thug.
There are people in this country.
Rubio just threatened to physically take care of me.
There are people who
Look at
feel
that.
that they're being
We already got rid of our First Amendment.
silenced. They feel like
He tells you China's the problem, which it is, but they're taking our free speech right now.
Social media platforms.
You know, you're taking the free speech of the actual journalist who's trying to interview him. That's the free speech that's being taken here. The free speech of the legitimate journalist. How does this guy get a press pass?
Victoria says, granted, Rubio deserves to be heckled, but Alex Jones deserves to be silenced. True story.
Facebook,
There goes Rubio.
Twitter.
I mean, one thing is to say we're going to go after foreign interference designed to sow instability.
But it's already going on here.
Another thing is to
The
say
Democrats
we're
are
going to
raping
go
the
after free
Republicans.
speech. Because at some point someone
The
has to make a
Democrats are raping
determination what's the
InfoWars.
difference between, misinformation from abroad and differences of opinion within the United
Yeah,
States.
and that's happening
a very
here.
fine line, and that's something we need to be careful about. We don't
He's doing
overreach
such a
in that
good
direction.
job.
But then he doesn't know about
So these
InfoWars being
companies
banned. He doesn't know about
have
the
to
top
be very
news story in the
careful
country.
about how they, not just how they,
The
how they
top
apply that
news
within
story in
United
the
States.
country.
InfoWars.com,
They don't become
better than
agents
ever.
of authoritarian regimes abroad to crack down on free speech, because
I wonder why Rubio got so mad at me and threatened me
there's
physically.
a balance between what is free speech and what people disagree on.
Poor Rubio.
I'm sorry, we gotta go.
Yeah, man, I gotta go to the committee.
The 12-year-old says, "Oh, we got to go now." I mean, this kid looks really young.
He's probably an intern.
The staffer. Yeah, I'm sure. Why doesn't Earpiece Guy drag Alex Jones away? I mean, so first of all, everybody else is trying to get like an interview. And
Right.
if you're any other journalist in that
You pissed
press
off
gaggle,
right now.
you're like, well, I can't use any of this fucking thing for anything useful except to be like, oh, look how stupid Alex Jones is right now. But that's what Alex Jones wants. He wants the attention. He wants to be the top story. So what a waste of a press gaggle. But
You guys can talk to this clown.
Oh, yeah. Look at this little frat boy. So cool. Go back to your bathhouse. Compromise at the bathhouses. There goes Rubio, little punk. Anyways, you gotta love people that come from authoritarian regimes, and then they don't even appreciate America.
So freedom of speech. What do you make?
oh my God, this guy.
Oh, people.
What a waste of human flesh.
Why
Hey, I
has-
got a great idea. No, I don't want to say that.
Jesse wants to know why real life has turned into SNL sketches.
Yeah.
How is this actually happening?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, Jesse. I wish I knew the answer to that question. Unfortunately.
Nothing.
Ugh. Infighting amongst Republicans, Dan says. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, Alex Jones, you piece of work, you.
Mm-hmm. I just... Oh.
Finally tonight. Well, almost finally. Gwyneth Paltrow's company Goop,
I saw this story.
often ridiculed on our show, settled a lawsuit brought by the Santa Clara County DA and 9 other prosecutors. The prosecutors claimed correctly that the company's questionable products, including vagina eggs, quote, were not supported by competent and reliable science, end quote.
You don't say.
I dare say.
What?
Goop agreed to refund any customers who bought the eggs or the Inner Judge Flower Essence blend between January 12, 2017 and August 31st, 2017. So there you go. If you bought your vagina egg in the first
Did it give
3 quarters
somebody...
of 2017, you can get your money back. And they agreed.
I wonder if all these people that did like YouTube pranking for these eggs will actually get their money back too. Or if you have to like meet certain criteria. To get your money
No,
back.
I don't.
I think if you bought
it's,
one, you should be able to get a refund, right? No matter why you bought it.
Sure.
Dan says okay,
yeah.
you got it. Okay.
Yeah. And they agreed to no longer make claims regarding the efficacy or effects of any of its products without possessing competent and reliable scientific evidence that substantiates the claims. So good. Good for Goop.
Mm-hmm.
They'll also pay $145,000 in civil penalties.
Good.
There's almost sort of a parallel here. This makes me think back to the conversation about stuff on Facebook and Twitter and shadow banning and conservatives. And for the Facebook, Twitter, whatever argument, the things that are being silenced or and should be silenced are the rampant conspiracy theories that have no basis in reality, no justification. The kids at Sandy Hook were fucking actors. Are you kidding me? Alex Jones should have been shut down years ago.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been able to be given the chance to say those things.
Right.
Like
the minute that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Right? I can say, hey, priests in the Catholic Church all across the world are fucking children. I got evidence to back that one up.
Right.
Right? There's a difference.
Yeah.
In the claims that you make. And if you're trying to be the shock jock and say, outrageous things to get people to watch you, which is what people do now. I mean, if you tried to put together a show or a YouTube channel or whatever that was bland, then nobody would watch it. Everybody wants to see, some crazy person doing some stupid shit.
They want entertaining content.
We've devolved into that, yes. Yeah. But there are certainly things that I think Facebook and Twitter should have a right to silence and ban. And these conspiracy theories are on the top of that list. Now, if you start, silencing articles that, argue for trickle-down economics, for example, a stalwart of the Republican platform, then okay, maybe then we have something to talk about, because that's just the free exchange of ideas. Right. We can debate whether trickle-down economics even works. That's a thing that should be in the public sphere that we can address. But when you're making unsubstantiated claims about children in a school shooting, oh, you'll love this one. I don't think I told you this. Someone else that we know. Made the claim the other day that David Hogg was not at the school when at Parkland when the shooting happened.
Tell me about this, yeah.
Guess where that story comes from?
Makes me sick.
Breitbart,
Mm-hmm.
Infowars,
Mm-hmm.
Fox News,
Mm-hmm.
right-leaning outlets. And guess what? It's not true. He was at the school. I don't know, CBS or CNN, whoever it was that did that interview, and they played the clip of him talking about riding back to the school or riding to the school in the dusk with his camera or whatever, and it was, the sun was starting to set or whatever, in the evening. That was only part of the interview. That was only part of it. And when you look at the rest of the interview that wasn't included in that clip, he was in the school, and there are witnesses. He ran into a janitor, I think. It was a janitor.
Yeah, he had plenty of people who corroborated his story.
Runs into a janitor who's like, hey, kids, I know what's going on. I know where they're at. You need to go that way.
Right.
Get out of here. Go that. And so
what scares
I was
me.
so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad to find in that close of a circle to me that someone was believing in that outright lie.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? Sorry.
I was going to say the same thing. It's like, and this is somebody we've known for years and
Mhm.
years.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's like, what? And it's like when you find those things out about it changes the way you view them. Because how can you eat that up?
Yeah.
How
do you buy into that?
How do you, because.
But there's psychology behind it.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, they're, not an excuse, but.
Didn't he study psychology?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember.
But
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's scary to me because you never know.
And in the face of the evidence. So what did I do? What do? I go to Snopes. I factcheck.org or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I go to Snopes. I research, was David Hogg at the school during the shooting? And I came up with the story, and I want to say it was CBS. It might have been CNN. But they said, the very next day released a statement that said, hey, we played a short clip. Here's the full thing. All clear, right? Everybody's good? No, apparently not. When presented with that evidence, the change of this person was from oh, David Hogg wasn't even there. What does he know? He's you know, to, well, he's really annoying and he's just writing this whole thing to, you know, to get famous.
So I don't even
How'd we get here?
Right?
How did we get here?
Like, and I think about that and I think, you know what? If we didn't live in this super weird alternate reality, like that's all I can. If I go back 10 years and I look at the people that I knew 10 years ago that I'm still close to, that I still know, and how much I know about them now. And like, there's some that I'm super close to now because of all this crap that went down and all the stuff that's going down in politics and how you just kind of bond over what's going on. And oh my gosh, we're in like really crazy times right now. I mean, even family members that have these crazy, super ultra conservative political ideas. And I go, how can you even sit in the same room with me knowing that your conservative ideas and who you vote for will affect my life?
Yes.
Like, how is that even? I just don't understand it. I can't comprehend it. Like, how can you call me a friend? How can you call me family? How can you even, like, because if I was making decisions on who to vote for and I voted for somebody who I knew would enforce policies or make bills that would affect somebody that I cared about or loved, I don't think I'd be able to look at those people in the face.
Right.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it would be real hard. But you just put up the blinders.
Yeah, I guess.
Dan wants a break, but we're almost done. Dan says
the breaks in the beginning don't count.
Yeah, Victoria made a comment I wanted to read. Because people would rather believe what they want instead of the facts. In order for people to believe facts, they have to admit they were wrong. Name one harder thing. So you're absolutely right. And in this article, in the study, that was one of the things that they looked at was conservative versus liberal, your ability to take in new information, your willingness to accept new information, and depending on where the source of that information was, and whatnot. And conservative-minded people are just not open. They are closed off to information that challenges what they already believe and what they want to believe. Right? Wanting to believe a thing, wanting that thing to be true,
right,
is a huge component of that too.
Well, yeah, and I mean that goes for a lot of things. I mean, it's just the way your mind works. You if you want for something, or if you're told,
yeah, sure,
that's just a basic psychological thing as humans that you deal with.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a pin in the McKenna Denson story. I'll tease it out. We'll see if we can reschedule her.
Okay.
So McKenna Denson had filed a lawsuit against the church formerly known as Mormon, and Joseph L. Bishop, who she claims raped her in the basement of the church's main missionary training center in 1984. Now, she went to church leaders at that time. Well, a few years later, well within the statute of limitations at the time. And, like we've said before, and like the Catholics were doing, they covered it up and hid it and didn't do anything to help her or him. And so she is on a quest to make it right, to make the church, she's still a believer, which I got questions about that too. To make things safer for everyone else who's still in the church. She no longer trusts the governing body. She no longer trusts the church, or any leadership, or men. And but she's taken her story public, in a very raw way, and I can't wait to talk to her, because she posed as a reporter writing a story on missionary training center presidents through the years. lines up an interview with this guy and goes in. And I kid you not, I listened to the whole thing. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. She spends 40 minutes building up rapport with this guy. So, what was your first calling in the church? And how did that? I talked about that. And then you were called to do this. And then you went here. And then you went to there. And then they got to the missionary training center. And she says, she basically flips the table on him and says, do you remember who I am? It's incredible. And I'm dying to talk to her. I'm sorry I couldn't make that happen for you this week. But I'm going to reach back out to her and see what we can do to get that put back together. And then she did what we've seen a lot happen in the Jehovah's Witness organization. She went to his ward into the church and did some shouting.
Yep.
Okay. The best stories start with
a Florida man.
Oh, I thought you were gonna sing it.
Oh, Florida man. I need like a little banjo and I don't know.
I love it. Okay. And before we get into the Florida man, let me first say, we're talking about fake news and conservative viewpoints and what. If you fell for the hoax article about a Florida man burning his house down while trying to burn his Nikes, cut to the close-up. Shame on you.
Geez, you didn't tell me freaking time.
Shame on you for falling for that hoax. Have we taught you nothing?
Listen, in all fairness, I can understand why people would have fallen for it because sounds like a Florida man thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But it just goes to show that you should always verify the sources and make sure it's the truth before you spread the story.
Right. One of the websites that I use for the Florida man stories always includes a link to the source article, which is always the St. Pete Times or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what their newspapers are called, but Tampa Bay Times.
Are you using some that I sent you this week? Because I sent you some really interesting ones.
I don't remember. There was, okay, so.
I know there was like one that was like, and then there was one that was really hilarious. And then there, I don't remember if I sent all of them to you.
Well, there was one I was going to use, but I didn't have a chance to write it up.
Oh, well, that stinks.
Well, here, I'll do it this way. So again, if you fell for the hoax with the Nike shoe guy catching his house on fire, shame on you. However, a Florida man did set his house on fire. Had nothing to do with Nike shoes. An apologetic but confused man greeted Florida firefighters nude after he allegedly started a house fire as he tried to bake cookies on a George Foreman grill, according to local media. Smoke was coming from the home. Niceville. Where's Niceville, Florida? Why don't we live there?
It's in the Panhandle. That's
why. That's why. Is it nice? When the naked man met authorities at the door, at the time the home was filled with smoke and multiple items were on fire. I'm sorry, he said, and closed the door. The man, quote, showed no sign of understanding the danger he was in.
Jesse says it's not how you do Cookie Fridays.
Now you have to tell that story in a minute.
Okay.
He later told authorities that he had smoked marijuana and consumed 2 liters of vodka. That's the Florida man right there.
Florida drunk man and high man.
After the man had been removed from the house for his safety, firefighters informed him he could have died of smoke inhalation. An investigation found the man had tried to bake cookies on an unattended George Foreman grill, which is not how you make cookies.
Like, how do you, like, I don't even understand how that would work.
Oh, this is brilliant. When the grill caught fire, he attempted to put out the fire using towels, which also caught fire.
Because he didn't get them wet first.
Because he was high. It took him 30 minutes to think about, maybe I should have got him wet. I've been there. I mean, not in the fire, but...
Like, open the door and the firefighter, hold on. I'm trying to put a fire out.
Yeah, exactly. He had burns on his hands, refused medical treatment. There you go.
Oh, my gosh.
So we'll count that story. I don't have a quippy headline.
That's hilarious.
For that one, but...
That's not how you do Cookie Fridays.
Yeah, well, that's good. I like it.
Let me just explain Cookie
Fridays.
Fridays.
Go ahead.
So Jesse's in the chat, and Jesse is basically Sarah and I's third wheel. The three of us used to hang out all the time.
We would
way back in the day.
It's been the statute of limitations has passed for us
been
to
like
say
10 years.
to say on air on record that we used to go to the bar before work.
Well, and none of us work for that company anymore. So.
That's true. Okay, good.
But Cookie Fridays was a thing that we did every Friday. Jesse would make cookies and bring them in for everybody, and it was kind of like
It was our thing.
to build morale
Yeah.
and like just
Yeah, it was great.
It was really fun.
I miss those times. That was
Me
fun.
too.
I mean, I don't miss the hours and working out in the heat and
Episode name. I should have got him wet.
Jesus.
That could be the story name, not necessarily the episode name. Okay, go on.
A 50-year-old Florida man drowned last Saturday while attempting to evade police.
Oh.
At about 3:15 a.m., Orange County Sheriff's deputies approached the man in Pine Hills.
Of course they did.
Pine Hills is the Cabrini Green of Orlando, basically.
Think Sistrunk Avenue for those South Floridians.
Approached the man in Pine Hills in what they described as a consensual encounter, which is an interesting word choice.
Yeah.
When police discovered the man had drugs on him, he fled, jumping into a retention pond. A dive team responded and tried to rescue the man, but didn't get there in time. Witness told Fox 35, quote, "Dive team went down to try to save the guy. You just saw his hands flapping. They went down to try to grab him, but water filled his lungs by that time. It was over. He was done." End quote. Kids, a narcotics arrest is preferable to drowning.
Right?
That's a good life lesson for anybody who's out there.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Take the charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Friday night last week, Abraham Duarte, a 22-year-old Ocala resident, was also fleeing to avoid arrest, and he too ended up in the water.
What up, Florida man?
Police attempted to pull over Duarte for speeding when he stopped his car, fled on foot, jumped into a Cape Coral canal, and was overcome by the algae that has taken over much of our waterways this summer. Now, I know we've talked about the state of Florida's water problems with recent political candidates, and this isn't the toxic red tide stuff.
Right. No, it's just regular algae.
It's just regular algae.
But still.
But it's not healthy.
No.
This is cyanobacteria,
Ooh.
which can make people vomit if ingested and cause skin irritation. The press release states that Duarte, quote, was overcome with the algae in the water and after he swallowed some, end quote. He swam back to shore and was pulled out by officers. He was taken to a local hospital and then to Lee County Jail. Police found 7 vials of THC oil in the vehicle.
Ooh.
And so he was booked on suspicion of a controlled substance without a prescription and resisting an officer.
Wow.
I know my choice, but for everybody else. That's not how I do Cookie Friday. That's not how you do Cookie
That's not
Friday.
how you do Cookie Friday. That's my choice.
Drugs are bad, okay? And there's something in the water in Florida.
Oh, God. That's horrible.
Well.
Okay.
I'm going with the cookie guy.
Yeah.
Catching the house on
I
fire.
mean, the cookie guy.
All right. Well, that's...
All I have in chat is that Dan is saying 100
Dan
minutes and no break, unfair, unjust, cruel, and unusual punishment. Because he hasn't had time. He hasn't had a break to go get his drink refilled, and it's empty. And we're sitting here drinking.
Well, see, this is why.
And he can't go
it's
refill
too close
his drink.
to the end of the show. I'm not going to
know.
refill it right now, but
Yeah,
that's
true.
I was going to say that's
think,
why I
mean-
have my bottle right next to
yeah.
the... That's why
See,
we bring it
Dan?
in here.
You need to get an ice chest. Keep your drinks close. I don't think we meant to go this long.
No,
that's why
we
there was no
definitely-
break lined
no,
up.
definitely
Sorry.
not.
Russell says that's not how you do Cookie Fridays. His vote.
All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty clear.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote this out with the 2 guys jumping in the water because they were
Right. Yeah.
themed together.
Yeah.
And then this dumbass burns his house. The
Oh, it's
cookies and the
so
George
good.
Foreman grill.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I got to add that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, there's no competing
God,
that one.
Florida is just
A mess.
a mess.
In all kinds of ways.
What is wrong with the people here?
Listen,
What?
I've been in Florida
Yeah,
for a long time.
Tell me.
I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's something about when the salt water touches the ground.
I was
and
gonna
seeps across.
I was gonna
have no
ask,
idea.
is it something in the water?
Yeah. Ha ha ha. Is there?
Oh, I didn't have it on.
Oh,
Too late now.
you failed.
Lost the moment. Damn it.
So sad.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have big news.
What kind of big news?
We have a new patron.
Yay! I love new patrons. Who's our new patron?
Darling Fitch.
Darling.
Darling.
I love that name, Darling. Darling.
Darling Fitch is our newest patron. Darling Fitch is an American-born, Berlin-based transgender writer, musician, and performance artist.
Ooh, Darling sounds very interesting.
Yes. So there is a Patreon for her stuff as well.
okay.
So you can check that out if you want.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Patreon family.
Yes, welcome.
The
Thank
more
you.
the more the merrier.
I hope we're your flavor of crazy.
Yeah.
If not, I'm terribly sorry.
Something like that. Hey, thank you to all of our patrons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you bought us a new camera.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Maybe next week we won't have to start the show 4 times before we figure
God, I
out
hope
why
not.
it didn't work anymore.
No, I'm just gonna have to let it run at a lower resolution.
I think that's it.
Bullshit.
Well, you know, when the camera is nicer than the computer.
Yeah,
That's the problem. I bet you that's.
that's definitely where
we replace the.
definitely where the
If we
bottleneck
replace
is.
the laptop, then we might be into something.
One of these days, our patrons will buy us mic mute buttons,
Cough
buttons.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, next month you're helping us pay our mortgage, so yeah, thanks for that.
No, you shouldn't call it a mortgage. You should say our studio fee.
Oh
'Cause
Jesus!
the studio is in the house, and gotta pay for the house to keep the studio.
You're not wrong.
Nope.
Not wrong.
Just
All
trying to
right.
make it a little prettier.
Thank you everybody for listening, for helping us fight through the technical problems. And next week will be better, I promise. We'll see you next week. You've been listening to SarahTalk.
Bye. SarahTalk is made possible by listener support. Visit patreon.com/SarahTalk to become a patron and help keep this program going. Contact Sarah and Company by email at producer@sarahtalk.com or call 224-40-SARAH. That's 224-407-2724. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/SarahTalkRadio and on Twitter @SarahTalkRadio. The opinions and information provided on this show are intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions are solely that of the hosts and their guests. We make no representations as to accuracy, completeness, timeliness, or validity of any information and will not be liable for any errors or damages. SarahTalk is a production of Sarah Austin Media.